Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Cheryl, and I have another message from the Quad as we do my weekly videos. And this weekly video is going to be about artificial intelligence. I've spent the last few months be able to attending lots of seminars, lots of training from various schools, lots of online sources, and it's quite an array of tools that are out there. But for many of you who know me, and you know my teaching style, I look at tools as a carpenter might. What are the tools in your toolbox? Do you know how to identify them? Do you know how to use them? Do you know applications of them? Think about um, the channel grips that might be in the hands of a master carpenter. I actually bought a pair of them years ago because a handyman in my house was using them, and now I knew what it was and I knew what it could do, and I bought a pair. There's nothing worse than having a tool you can't play with or you don't know what it used, regardless if you know what its name is, you can identify it, but you don't quite know how to use it. And that's where I think sometimes our classes might be is you can write a paper on leadership. You can probably do definitions and take a test on leadership terms, but can you actually identify them? Many of my students are working on assignments. Most of them are papers, and I'd like to actually get you in the field. Think about what I often say is using the most effective tool for the most effective outcome. But the question is how do we know the tools to use? How do we know the tools that are being used by others, particularly for artificial intelligence? Think about when Turnitin and Safe Assignment. These are plagiarism tools that were developed and created and have continued to evolve. They're simply tools, and we need to know the benefits of these tools and how to correctly use them. Artificial intelligence is no different. There are so many different applications from ChatGPT to Gemini to evolutions that they continue, and they're moving so incredibly fast. But the principles and the foundations are still the same. Use the most effective tool for the most effective outcome, but you have to learn how to use the tool. Artificial intelligence takes training, takes understanding. You have to teach artificial intelligence. You have to learn what prompts can do, what the plugins can do. If you want to use APA Format and use it as a way of generating ideas, as a way of editing, as a way of simply using as another tool in your toolbox. But you have to have some caveats. First of all, privacy is not guaranteed, even if you have the paid version. If you give ChatGPT something to chew on, that which is in that you have given it is now in the database. And that might not be something you want, particularly if you're one of my doctoral students and you're working your doctoral research, and we can't release that to the public until graduation and the CAO has and the final dean has looked at it and reviewed and accepted it. And I don't want to have you use any of these tools without having the proper understanding and the dangers of what it can do and what the pitfalls might be. So let me encourage you. There are lots of trainings at your specific university, lots of things in YouTube. I'd be happy to recommend some things. I'm going to start posting some policies and things that we use at the university. But the biggest thing that I can suggest to you, as I have suggested to my students from years gone by, whenever there's a new tool, I don't care if it's learning to have audio read to you in Microsoft Word. If you don't know about that, that's fantastic, by the way. If you look at Grammarly, or when you set up your computer, remember factory defaults only have spell check that's set up, not spell check and grammar check. So you have to learn about some of these tools. And I know we seem to be becoming de facto technical support folks, and I never intended to be, but it takes time. And I don't expect you to have to understand the complete understanding of this, but I do know that it's more than just having a tool that you can identify, this is a wrench, this is its name, and this what it can do. There's so many applications that if I can't find my hammer, I can use a wrench if the function is to put a nail in the wall. So I want to be able to form follows function. Effective use follows effective knowledge, skills, learning, and training. You have to train AI. And if you don't know the specific ways of training, or you have the free version versus the paid version, or you look at the idea of can you trust it? We're back to my equivalency of Wikipedia. I never allowed Wikipedia in my class because Wikipedia is an open source. And open source means anybody can put anything at any time. And when you're a emerging student in a specific discipline or a doctoral scholar in a specific discipline, you may not always yet know how to separate truth from fact, how to separate fact from fiction. And AI is simply a really sophisticated personal digital system, but it can't think. I know it's personal and charming, and it's a little daunting when they can says please and thank you, and it's as if you're having that anthropomorphism type of experience with a robot. But they can't have discernment in judgment. They cannot have discernment in ethics. They cannot have discernment in many of the opportunities that we as humans, and that's what makes us human. So I'd like to start posting some of these things and sharing experiences in the classroom of how you use AI, how you train the prompts, how you're able to understand what you're willing to tell it so that you understand your privacy could be at risk, and what you're willing to risk for inaccuracy. All AI is doing is telling you the probability of the next word. Its accuracy is not there. It's peer reviewed. It often tells me about books I've never written yet, and I have 60 of them out there. So you have to understand with any tool the most effective tool for the most effective outcome, but you have to learn the training and how to use the tool. And sometimes that takes a little bit. So I know this video is a little bit longer than normal, but I want you to be able to start thinking about, because any tool in the hands of a master craftsman can be brilliant. It can save us time. It can be efficient. I want you to embrace these tools so long as you understand their purpose, their function, their limitations, and their dangers. I'm Dr. C. I'll see you around the quad. Bye now.